Yeah, you know, the whole morning I have this feeling of like something great to happen. I was at one stage I felt like, oh my God, should I be nervous? Should I should I have prepared better? Should I do more research? And after I felt like, I can give it like negative judgment as fear, but after I thought like, I can just feel excited, like about something great to happen. So, Katie, thank you so much for agreeing, doing this interview with me. I feel so blessed and so grateful that you just come here to share your wisdom with Russian-speaking audience.
Well, it's a beautiful thing to support you and the way you support the work and Olga's beautiful translations. And it's, yeah, we do what we know to do here once we understand who and what we are and our nature. It's the end of anything. It's the end of duality, really. We all know what to do. An inquiry takes away any reason not to. And we don't have to guess anymore. We just do the thing we know is right to do. And it's a good life. It doesn't mean it's right to do in other people's opinion, but we can only come out of ourself and be right with ourselves and make it right if we should ever see that there was an error. Yeah.
Katie, Eckhart Tolle talks about you that you are a blessing for our planet. And I was wondering for a long time, why Katie Bayron books everywhere in all the corners of the world? Why still no books of Katie Bayron in Russian? And I think must be a special reason why your first Russian book, came out in Russia in this special year. So I believe that your book coming to Russia is like a blessing for all the Russian-speaking people. And I cannot imagine even better time to release your book, specifically 2020. So thank you so much.
I think that Olga was the push behind that. She has a passion for it, and she just moves forward and wants people to understand that inquiry and the answers are within us all.
Thank you, Katie. And I have it here. I have my first that I bought so many years ago, and it completely changed my life, Katie. And I've enjoyed so much my life, my children, and this great adventure. And so many people learned about it. And I'm so thrilled. Thank you, Katya, because Katya actually approached me about 6 months ago because she wanted everyone to know about the work.
Yeah.
So passionate about it. And we introduced it to so many thousands of people. And I'm so grateful that you came to share this with us now and tell one more time why this is the ultimate truth. This really is the ultimate way to yourself and to beautiful, amazing reality of our life.
Yes, and for all your support, getting Loving What Is out. I always wait or I could say, I always love to just watch how the book moves on its own. If it has value, someone will move it. And I do all that I can to support that. And Stephen does also. So yeah, loving what is in the way of it. If something's valuable, it moves around from one to the other, to the other, to the other. That's what value, that's the life of value.
And Katie, for the new readers, I just got an email from somebody who just bought the book and never heard about the work before. And they're asking, how can I really apply it? How do I inquire into I'm stupid? Like, how do I deal with that in my life? Can you give them some pointers?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, sweetie.
Yeah, if I can add, because, before our meeting, I done some research on my Instagram account. I asked people I work mostly with women, and asked them what was like the greatest fear and suffering what you felt during this year, because we're kind of now in the end of it. And it was almost, one after one, that everybody was writing things connected to fear of getting sick, or of getting your mom sick, or your loved ones, to lose maybe people in your life, because I think like this year always was driven by fear. And I want as many Russian people as possible to buy your book and to let go of all this suffering. And if you maybe can touch how these 4 questions that just turn everything around can help into experience like all level of pains connected to fear, and how Russian people maybe can apply it also in this ways, in these feelings that they
Well, if we take what was it, Olga? I'm going to get sick. Was that the one-liner? One of you can. Yeah. So if I had the thought, you know, I'm going to get sick. It's a concept. It's a thought. It's a judgment. And I'm going to get sick. Is it true? That's the first question. There are only 4. Can I really know that it's true? I'm going to get sick. And I look at the situation where maybe someone has walked in front of me, maybe a family, and they're not wearing their mask, and they're laughing and singing, and we don't have the distance, and I have the thought I'm going to get sick. So I focus on that situation. I'm going to get sick. Is it true? And then, you know, I just query that. Can I really know that it's true? Well, I feel, you know, I can't know for sure. Could be, but I don't know. I just can't absolutely know that. And then I look at the 3rd question. There are only 4. I look at the 3rd question, and I notice how I react when I believe the thought. And I notice that I become maybe unsettled. Everyone has to look to themselves. How do you react when you think the thought, you're going to get sick, you're going to catch the virus? And we all look to ourselves and how we react. And this is where we get still. We meditate in the question, how do I react? I get in touch with my emotions, my feelings, and how it felt when I think that thought, and how they're already around the block and I'm still sitting in, I'm going to get sick. So I see me, I'm old, I'm 78, and I see me in the hospital, and I see me on a respirator, and I can't see my children, and I can't see Stephen, and I'm alone. And then I see the past where we were all together and all having so much fun. And those images of the past, that's the illusion. People want to know, what is the illusion? What is ego? Well, that's it. Those images in my mind's eye of the past, and the image of my mind's eye in the future. And then there's comparison. The ego, to survive, it compares those happy days, those healthy days, and then those sick days, those sick, lonely days. And as we witness that illusion, the ego's survival to live, mind survival, ego to be a physical object, a body, it never sleeps. That's its trick. So who would I be without the thought? You know, who would I be without the thought? So now the illusion falls away. I can still hear the laughter of them turning the corner, and I'm healthy. And it's one of those days when the sun is shining, and I'm really happy to be healthy right here, right now. And I'm grateful. And what happened was I noticed the difference between the illusion in my head of past, future, and reality. Now there is a reason that, let's say, if that were if that were my experience, there is a reason that I'm upset. It's not the virus. It's not those people. It had nothing to do with masks or distancing, nothing to do with it. The cause of me being so upset was I was caught in the dream, the illusion of past future. So in that fourth question, who would I be without it? Awake. And as some of us take on this practice, we can talk like right here, right now, and talk, be here, and see the illusion of when I said, see the illusion. And be awake to the illusion and be present, because one is real, the other is the illusion. So no longer caught in the dream, but back in the real world where we can take care of our children, we can smile, our health is better, our physical health. The energy that worry takes. And I described a worrisome experience for a lot of people. And what was it wasn't the virus that caused my suffering. It was the dream that I was believing. Life has never been as unkind. Even sick in the hospital with the virus, the worst that can happen, I've just described. Remembering when my children, and even on a respirator, remembering, seeing in my mind's eye of the breath that was, and a future where it's not coming again. And so what is the cause of my choking beyond the lungs being filled? That is the place we can breathe, to be awake to, I'm in the past, I'm in the future. And then you notice you'll breathe or not, but that will all happen in the absence of fear. If you're awake to reality. I drank some water one day. Olga may remember me sharing this, but I drank some water one day and it went down. It started to go down my throat when I swallowed, but it didn't go down where it was supposed to. It went through my, down through it. It felt my lungs. I'm not a doctor, so I do, but it went down. Some would say the wrong pipe. But without my story, it doesn't matter what was being imaged or what beyond that dreamed, comparing the swallowing experience with me swallowing, imagining one, experiencing the other, without comparison. In other words, without the dream. It was amazing. The water went down. I experienced curiosity and it just came right back up. We hear people talk about non-resistance. That is the essence of non-resistance, being awake to the dream. So it's life lived. It's life lived out of a fearless state of mind, understanding the cause of all suffering, and noticing when we're fearful again, and being very curious about the cause of that suffering, to identify it, it's right there, and to write it down on a judge your neighbor worksheet or on a one belief at a time worksheet. And to do that work, it's simply unfinished business, and this is Earth School. So all fears, imagining the future, all guilt, shame in the past. And there's a remedy for that. And the answers are inside of all of us. No one holds more wisdom than another. It's equal. And these questions give us opportunity to tap into that wisdom. And with all four questions, if we get still and we're open to the answer, then wisdom will meet the questions. As we wake up to the dream we call life, with no enemy, no. We just left with gratitude and how can I help?
Katie, I also asked this question because just recently my mom, she also called me and she said she had fever for a long time. She tells me on the phone, and she's in small city in Yaroslav, in little Russian city, and I'm in Bali here, all nice in the greenery. And she calls me, I don't feel like this with my nose, and this thing happened and this thing happened. And you mentioned these worksheets. They actually saved me, because I felt this game of the mind going crazy, oh my God, what if it's gonna develop? Do you have any contacts? How are you gonna fly? What are you gonna do? You have 3 kids, what's gonna, it's going crazy in my mind. And I felt this is not reality.
Yeah.
So I had to bring myself, and your worksheets that you mentioned, it's a game changer. And if you, as you said, if you maintain still, it's just changing everything. So I'm so grateful that now this instrument not just comes to chosen people that speak English. Now this instrument through the book available to all the Russian speaking audience. And I think this is a very important day that just unleashing new level of life enjoyment. And you mentioned that how you can work with these 4 questions, and I think many of us can understand probably, this thing happened for the better. In Russian we have this saying this for the better, and sometimes you can really, how this can be for the better. But so how in a moment you can really stop these thoughts, because sometimes you just you also have this saying of prison of the mind. You just already imprisoned, and these thoughts rule your day, rule your life. How can you really stop it when it happens, before it ruined your life, before it ruined your relationship? How do you stop yourself in time?
Well, I just judge my mother on paper, and then I question those judgments. And then I come out sane as opposed to crazy. And when people say life happens for the better, it's very difficult to see, because the ego takes that territory over. But once you're doing the work, it becomes life. You can see it. You can see it. One day a car hit a dog, and I saw it, and the dog was dying on the curb, bleeding out of its mouth, and just lay still on its side. And people started coming in the neighborhood. They started coming, and they were touching the dog, and the poor dog, and the dog needs water, and let's move him here and move him there. And I didn't say a word. I just no. It's okay. Everyone wanted to help the animal. And in all of that, the dog died. And it was so obvious that the dog was dying. It was, anyone could see it, but we can't see beyond the images in our head. We can't see beyond, oh, the dog is dying. You know, they lost, that's not a great example, but it's a way of life with our mothers, with our husbands, our wives, our children. It works with everything. There's just no downside. Like if my mother died, she lives in me. What is meant by that? I see her in the past, and then I see me in the future without her. Then I see her in the past, but I'm seeing her now. So can my mother ever die? If she's in another city, for all I know, she's, oh, this may be a bit much. But everyone in our life literally is a state of mind. And when they're with us, why is it so beautiful to be kind and understanding and connected? Because this is our life, and this is where we are at our best. This is where we're living the dream beyond the dream. Connected. Death can't part us. I could say a lot more about that, but anyone that sits in inquiry discovers any words that I could say, they discover for themselves, which is all that I did. This is a practice to sit in these Judge Your Neighbor worksheets and this One Belief at a Time worksheet and sit in ourselves. It's a meditative practice that I invite the world to, and I know that anyone with an open mind can do it. So, and no one has to do it.
Yeah, this judgmental worksheet saved me so many times, saved my husband, saved my kids from me. So it's really, and I'm so happy we have it in a book. So I just want to tell each one of you who are going to be watching this video, you just have all of it available now in Russian and can read it in a book format and just really apply it to your life. And you also mentioned like this curious mind, that instead of fear, instead of worry, you just become this like kids style curious. That gives you completely different meaning to everything. And you know, I also asked my audience, who do they judge? Like, especially like really, if they open and honest with themselves. So who do you really judge in your life? And I saw so many answers, like usually it's like closed ones, mom, dad, you know, like husband. And at the same time, we also judge ourselves. But many people wrote like, I don't really judge anyone. And, you know, in our personal development sphere, you know, we work with Tony Robbins, we work with Eckhart Tolle, I share lots of your knowledge, these 4 steps. And many people, they just say like, no, you know, I don't judge anyone. And I also believed that thought myself when I was coming to your seminars. Like, and you say like, okay, now it's time to judge. I'm like, no, like, I'm like, I'm like in this state of mind, I don't really judge anyone. And many people also in my research said like, no, I don't judge anyone. So you met many people, Katie, and I want to ask you, sometimes Russian people think they don't judge anyone. Did you ever meet people in the world that really don't judge anyone?
Well, you know, in the sense that you asked the question, no. People may believe they don't judge, but it doesn't mean they don't judge. And if I say, have you ever judged? And they say no, they just judged something. It was a judgment.
And, also I want to ask you, this explains everything. And, I also wanted to ask you, I know the importance of mentors in our life, teachers. And sometimes, especially in a painful experience, for example, I think we're so blessed of having Olga in our Russian-speaking, Russian-speaking field world, yes, yeah. Because she's just going so deep, and she works with so many people, and she just unleashing all these layers of pain, one after one after one, with all these questions. And what do you think about this role of like mentors and teachers? Because I want that after this first book came out, many people don't just read this book and like, it was a nice book, Katie is a wise woman. I want them to really apply this into their life, to really like this like kind of notebook, like where you see these questions with the book, and it's not like you just read the book and like that's it, your whole life changed, because on a book it's written like, read this book, it will change your life. But that you understand that every time something happens to you, you just open your notebook and you start working, because it's called the work. So how do you think we can all really, really apply it in our life, and not just read this book as like, I done it, like before the end of the year.
There's a phrase I use, it's living the turnarounds. And for example, on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, it's, let's say on number 2, it's, I want my mother to forgive me, or I want my mother to admit she lied to me. And then I question that. My mother lied to me. Is it true? And then I look at how I react when I believed the thought, what I said, what I did, how I treated her. And I sit in that and I witness that. I see how I reacted. And I see those images that were happening in my head, the illusion of past, future, where she did it before and she's going to do it again. And I have all the proof that she's wrong, I'm right. And now I understand the cause of my emotions and how I react when I believe the thought and why I believe the thought. It's the ego at play. So I notice all of that in how I react, what happens when I believe the thought. I become awake. And I see my mother lied to me. Who would I be without the thought? And I just drop, who would I be without the thought? My mother lied to me. And I just witnessed that. And I can hear what she said, because I'm safe now. I'm not there in doing war with her and feeling hurt. It was like 10 years ago or yesterday, it doesn't matter. So I can afford to meditate in, who am I without the thought? My mother lied to me. And I can hear her again. And my head was so full of all of this. I'm right, she's wrong. So now alone, I can sit in it. I can hear now what I wasn't listening to then. We can all get that still if we really want to be free. And then I turned it around. My mother lied to me, turned it around. I lied to my mother in that situation. And then I look at that in that situation. Did I exaggerate? Did I lie? Where do I So back to living turnarounds. My mother lied to me. I want her to apologize to me. Turn around, I want me to apologize to my mother. Now, I'm not going to wait to go apologize to my mother tomorrow or later or put it off. I'm going to live that turnaround as I sit alone, meditating in. I want my mother to apologize to me. I want me to apologize to my mother. So of the two, where is the value? She may never apologize to me, but I can see where I need to apologize to her. And so I do it as I sit in the situation alone, meditating in. I want me to apologize to her for lying to her. And so I do it in real time. And I take it in. I'm literally doing it as though she were there. I'm that close to it. And it's a safe place. So then I might call my mother and I understand how to do it. If I've completed the worksheet, I have all the turnarounds. I know my part. I can admit my wrongs. I can apologize. I can make it right where I'm able to. And feel right in myself. This work, I often call it checkmate. If a person wants to be free, and they're open to inquiry, then that's a state of grace, just being open to inquiry. That's to be curious about the wisdom that will meet these questions. It's a very exciting trip we invite people to. And I love that Loving What Is now out in Russia, and you two moving it in the world, in the Russian world and beyond.
Just wanted to thank again the Bambora publisher, because, and hopefully we'll have other books too. This is just the beginning of the journey. The Loving What Is a book that contains all the essentials of the work. Like everything you need is in this book. And if you really want to, you can clean up your whole life with this book. And there are other books that take you deeper on a different journey. So hopefully, within a couple of years, we'll have much more for Russian speakers to enjoy and to use.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support. There's an online community. There's more and more people doing the work, finding the truth, going through all things, seemingly traumatic things with love and presence. That is, and I've witnessed it, Katie, with you so many years. What you say is that everybody sees it for themselves. You really can, you can see it. People blossom like flowers because when they encounter their own truth, it's just magic.
It is. And watching you through the years, you just continue to look younger and healthier and softer and gentler. It's extraordinary how it affects the physical as well. I feel like we've discovered the fountain of youth, and it's more than a physical thing. It's a state of mind. It's to live like out of the inquiring mind, like a child at any age. It really is to be ageless. We're so blessed.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Katie. I just also feeling so blessed to both of you, because Olga, she just doing so much work, and we actually came up, I think, with a genius idea that for everybody who buying this book, Olga developed a special support program that really helps you integrate into your life for 3 weeks. Because I thought that when we read the book, it's quite a lonely experience, and you also need to not just to learn, but also to apply to your life. But when you have with somebody, like you have with some accredited facilitators of the work, and I felt like, oh my God, this is so amazing that we have Olga who can just really guide everybody through this process, because sometimes you just live like 30, 40, 50 years of your life into like this other reality within your head, but you cannot even understand what can be the other reality be. So I'm so happy to Olga that just made this Christmas present for everybody who wants to like really integrate it into their life. And when I heard that this book is coming, and this is what I want to encourage each one of you who's going to be watching this, when I thought like, oh my God, I know what I'm going to give everybody for Christmas and for like other celebrations, because in Russia we say that book is the best present.
Yeah, it's like giving the gift of life, like a whole new life. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
And thank you for giving this gift to us. It's,
oh, well, thank you for receiving it. That's a partnership. A gift isn't a gift until it's received. So we're all partners in that. You know, there is, with Loving What Is, after all these years, there are book clubs running like there's one company that's doing their second round of Loving What Is, and it's yeah, this Loving What Is, it's it's a beautiful gift, and thank you for passing it on, and thank the publisher and everyone that made it possible.
And thank you, Katya, for her amazing passion, you know, like really, really bringing light to so many people and ability to communicate that in really searching out, Katie. I'm so grateful that somebody comes along like that, right? Like you said, it has its own life, right? And somebody brilliant and beautiful like that comes along and says, wow, this is fantastic, and I want to share this with people.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your beauty and a beautiful life. And Katie, thank you so much for finding the time and sharing your love endlessly and patiently. And I know you don't use any patience, I know that, just a natural thing, but it's just,
oh, but you know, I love it because it tells me about you, Olga. It's like gratitude is my, it's like my favorite experience. So when someone says I'm grateful, it's like we have that experience in common, and it tells me about you, and that's precious. And thank you, you two precious receivers and givers.
Thank you for
happy holidays, Katie.
Oh, thank you, and you and your children and family, and oh my goodness, sweetheart, your family. Are you going to have more children?
Well, you know how many kids wants my husband? He wants this and this. He says, I want to have 10 kids. I'm like, okay, we have 3. Give me a little break.
Yeah, give me a little break here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think like each kid will come out of me. I think some kids probably we're just gonna attract into our life.
Oh,
but
that's
I see this
beautiful.
vision.
Oh, that's beautiful, Katya. Well, you certainly have all the love in your heart to hold a whole band of a whole team of children. Bye-bye.
Yeah, big plan. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you.
Oh, have an amazing holidays. Feels silly telling you two that. Have an amazing life just now.